All right. I don't expect anyone to be here today because it is 10:44 a.m. God, I lost my whole thought words. Oh, it's gonna be a great stream. It's gonna be such a good stream. Hopefully the audio's not too loud. You know, we're good. Okay. All right. Well, let's just jump into it. Might be a nightmare hell. Let's see. Pause. I'll pull this up. Good. Why are there like two? Oh, I still have that. I'll get rid of that. Okay. We should be better. Not great, but better. Oh shit, people are here. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Golly. Bottom right, is this right? Nope. Let's go the other way. Other way. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? It is Thursday, but it's early as hell. Reason why is because there's a giant game VR showcase. All right, if you're not into VR games, rough. But we're gonna still be hanging out, talking some shit, having some fun. Apparently, they fucked up because if we look over here, this isn't starting until 2 minutes. 2 minutes. See that? But they've already released basically what is introduction to the Meta Quest 3. For those of you guys who don't know, Meta Quest 2 was like this just big gigantic thing that was it put VR on the map. Basically, VR had like very little things sold, and this was a very cheap way to get into VR. It was $200 rather than like $1,000. So it really pushed VR really far, which is pretty sick. And actually, I just want to see this real quick. Okay, this got leaked immediately, by the way. We knew about this design forever ago. So these little nodes here are depth sensors, so that the pass-through, looking through the goggles, through the camera, could be a little bit better. But yes, also, what's good, Bolty? What's good, Chris? Ooh, how do I say this? Chrismatic? Chris? I'm gonna call you Chris. Chris says, hey, had my Discord sleepover last night. Was a shit ton of fun. Ooh, okay, what's that? Discord sleepover? Just hanging out with your buds in the Discord? Bolty says, why so early? It's because of this damn showcase starts at 10 so early in the morning. It's rough. Christmas says, people in other time zones other than MST exist, Grin. I know. I don't disagree that this is not ideal for a lot of us and you. It's not ideal for me either. I don't want to be fucking up this early. My brain doesn't wake up till like past 5. Okay, sounds fucked up, but it's true. I still get shit done, but yeah. Anyways, so we no longer have these gigantic rings you can see, which is pretty dope. I'm not sure I'm getting this. I'm not sure, but let's see. That might be copyrighted. Let's chill. Reimagining and redesign. So it's smaller. That's good. It's not thick as hell, like the front mask. From the inside out. Okay. 40% slimmer. Nice. It still weighs the same, but it's because the gravity's not so far forward, it's gonna feel like it weighs less, which is dope. Sweet. Does it have oh wait, that might be eye tracking. Probably not though. Probably not. Is it rocking the lenses that people are hoping for? Play in maximum comfort. Okay, all right, yeah. Enjoy gaming changing performance. Okay. So the thing that Meta kind of is hung up on, which a lot of people are not a fan of, is that they are hung up on standalone Meta being what they have to pursue and the kind of the only thing that they can pursue right now. Meaning you just need the headset for it to operate, which is good. It's good to have that, but it's not good to only put money into that, because then you just have games that look terrible and everyone looks at VR like this is it's like I'm going back 5 generations to play a video game. It's horrible. And then you see PC gameplay of it, which is running on a PC, and it's like crazy. And Sony shows that, well, what if we just used a console to kind of get a little bit of both? Wouldn't that be awesome? Where we could do some encoding in the hardware, and we could also do some encoding in the PC. Wouldn't that be chipper? And yeah, they don't do that really. Anyway, double GPU and processing power. Okay, stronger systems, faster and smoother experience. All right, so that means higher frame rate resolution, or just more? It's just a more stronger headset now. I don't know. Oh, I haven't actually popped this open. I just cracked it. Yeah. That should help with me waking up because it's morning. It's not morning. It's lunchtime almost. But anyways, high resolution displays. What's the resolution though? Clearing and sharpening visuals. Looks nice. Kind of looks, yeah. See, this is how they're trying to get around it. That guy's, this texture looks pretty rough, but, you know, it's fine. There are sharp corners, I guess. VR is about to get even more real. A lot more real. Looking through the world to pass through. Breakthrough meta reality. Everyone's trying to fight to do the pass-through thing. Full color, that's pretty dope. Apparently people say it looks decent to where like you can look at your phone and read through the camera, which is neat. Transfer your home into a virtual playground. I don't know if I love the gaming aspect of that, like looking at a tabletop. I know it's easier to code, but I feel like having the wall beside you combust, like all four corners of your room, the walls just like dissolve, and then you see like a fantasy realm or some shit. That'd be kind of sick. What's that drink? This is a Red Bull Peach. It's peach and nectarine, and dude, it is the best. It hits so hard. It is an energy drink though. Meet our redesigned controllers. This looks awesome because the controllers for this thing are just so chonky for no reason. I know they look small, but like, why is the handle so thick? It's kind of weird. Like, why not just sell an add-on that can, like, a shitty piece of plastic that just fills out the handle? I'd say that as a person who has like absurdly small hands, so yes, yeah. I think everything's getting ported over. Jesus, it's powerful. We're not going to tell you what the specs are. All right. Ooh, it's a $500 headset though. Golly, that's woof. That's a little bit pricey. It's not that bad. The old MetaQuest, honestly, that's crazy. But what I bought, I think the previous hardware for is around $400 or $500, so it's not that much more for me. But that's only because prices got knocked up because of how good the first one sold. It doesn't have eye tracking. That's something that everybody wants from VR just because it helps with the processing power, which if this is supposed to be standalone, that makes sense. Anyways, let us go. Oh, I guess we don't need to toggle. We'll just do this live. All right, well, are we gone? We're stuck in the limbo hell of just chilling for a hot minute. Is this gone? Are you guys fine with being a little bit far back? Let's just be a little bit far back. It's not like we need to see all the things. We'll have a little soft thing. Slow it down. All right, let me know if you guys can't hear anything. I don't want to hear captions. They distract me. Okay, so yeah, this is coming out this today actually. You basically play a gorilla. You just wreck shit. You just go on an absolute tear. You're a monster. You're like killing cupcakes essentially. It's like basically a gorilla tag, which is one of the most popular VR games, but with it's like a single player experience, which actually sounds pretty nice. Also, I wasn't expecting that. There's like a cooperative versus mode. This is gonna do really, really well. Granted, it's not free to play, which Gorilla Tag has, which is why it's so damn successful and makes so much money. I wonder. Again, you can see that it's. Oh no, it's starting in 10 minutes. Okay, I can chill. These are all games that are coming out this week, though. It's pretty fire. But yes. Yeah, it says 10 minutes till we're starting, so we're okay. We're okay. Chris says, yeah, video call and sleep. Well, that's so sweet. Volty says, what's that drink? What's that drink? Damn, I want that. Yeah, man, that peach is delicious. It's so good. What is this one? Oh, it's using the hand tracking, which sucks for your boy because my hands are in a state that can't be tracked, unfortunately. So when I try to do this, it's like, are you bending your fingers? I'm like, I don't have the full three nodes in your finger point. Anyway. What's good, Mr. Twib? Twiff? I'm gonna call it Twiff. What's it, Twiff? Twiff says, Dungeons and Dragons, that's dope. Yeah, that's pretty cool. There are situations where it could make sense, although I don't know why you need pass through. I don't know why you would just have like a 3D room and then be sitting in a chair with another 3D table and then be able to see like the world, like the floor combust underneath the table, and for there to be a new setting in place, you know, for you to be able to zoom in and then see those things in real time, you know. But yeah, again, I'm excited for AR. Is that what it's called? No, virtual reality versus augmented reality. Not AR, right? Augmented reality. I'm excited, but I haven't seen an application for it that I'm excited for yet, you know? Yeah, like if you could take a wall, make it like a portal into another thing, and then you're shooting at your wall, but you just see like a fantasy setting or a shooter kind of thing. That could be fun and cute. But yeah. Bodhi says, and Red Bull pretty affordable or not? No, I think it's pretty good. I mean, Red Bull, we get them at Costco, I think, for just like a bunch, like a 4-pack or something like that. I think they're like maybe $6 for a 4-pack. I think it's okay. Maybe that's too much. What's good, Beasties? It's been a hot minute, buddy. How are you? Are you ready for some games? Hopefully some good VR games, but we'll see. What is this? Okay, an anime game. Did I see YouTube? Like a YouTuber person? Ugh. I don't know why I hate my kind, but whenever I see in a video game, it's usually just so terribly done. Or it's just like a clout goblin, you know, who's just like, look at me. I mean, it looks kind of neat. What is it though? Is it like a one of those games that talks about? Okay, you got some stab through your very poly hand, but okay. I guess we're like trying to. It's like Ace Attorney, trying to feel like who is the evil one. Something. Death Game Hotel. All right, well, man, imagine if that was a PC launch. It looked good. it looks fine, but man, running it on like Genshin Impact looks fire on your cell phone. That's that. You know what I mean? So I'm like, why can't, if theoretically these goggles are supposed to do the thing, I don't know. It's just a lot of the games look a little rough. Can hear all. You can hear it all. Okay, good. Pretty affordable or not for a VR headset. You know, it's what do you call it? For a VR headset, the $500 price tag. I think what made the first one sell so well is because it was $300, so it was like opposed to $1,000 and then some, which was the Valve headset. It was extremely expensive. So $300 was like, oh, it's like if you didn't want, like for me, who's a PC player, who's basically just using it as like a screen. It was, instead of buying a console, I would buy this and have access to a completely different, like a completely, absolutely astonishingly different lens into gaming. So that's why I got the Quest. But for me, when I bought it, because it was in high demand that it was only available for $500 and it was not coming down. But the new one is $500 now, which I think is a little bit more steep for people. I think people are getting more and more okay with paying for a lot more, I guess, or paying for less in some cases. I don't know what the headset is, but the headset doesn't have as much, all the things that people want, I don't think, which is worrying for me. Like, Meta's thing is that they want to make a standalone headset that all you need is the headset. But then they didn't put eye tracking in the headset, which to me is like the biggest way to save performance. To save performance, this looks dope. Onward. It's like a military shooter thing. But the reason why it makes sense is because if you can track the eye, what the eye is looking at, you can depixelate and de-render or lower the render of all the stuff around you. So eye tracking makes a lot of sense. What do you call it? That's why Sony put that eye tracking in the PlayStation 4 headset. It's not because like, ooh, this is a fun gaming mechanic. It's like, no. If we want to make sure that our games can continue to look good and also perform well, we're going to need a way to do that. And everyone who's used it can't notice anything. Even when you see gameplay footage of it, you can't really notice it. But yeah. So I don't know why they skipped out on the eye tracking. I don't know if I want it. The new headset, like the new Meta headset, it's tricky. Because I don't know. It's there, and Meta's really good about being like, it's just ready to rip. Like you just put it on and you're pretty good to go. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's tricky. it's tricky a little bit because there's another headset that just got announced by like some sort of smaller company, but it has like a lot of the things that people want. I think it might be still pricey though, so we'll see. What is this?
In here, no one plays none.
Oh, is this that game? This is the one that I thought I actually wanted to play on stream. Is it?
But only one side can.
No, it's a top-down board game, which is cool. Cool board game, but yeah. What's good, Red? Are you ready for some VR games? Oh. Sorry, I am excited. I just after a lot of the peach and the nectarine have a tangy taste, so it's like a Bodhi says tear and rip. It's rip and tear, or did you mean to swap it? Doom's mantra is rip and tear, rip and tear. Stuff like Warhammer would be insane in VR. Well, there's a game that's coming out that already came out that there's a game called Slaughter or something like that. It's very similar. And there's another game that people have been waiting on for a long time, which is like this Japanese kind of. It's a very much like Shadow Warrior, except with a lot more like classic speed of like old Doom-like shooters, I guess, or yeah, Doom-like shooters. But there's a bunch of stuff like that, man. It's coming out. This one's cute too. This game is like all about puzzles, but it actually looks really unique to where like whenever you die, you make a clone. So you can like throw them a gun like that and then shoot them, like your dead self a gun and shoot them. It looks cute. I'm not sure if I'm that into puzzle games to be like, yeah, even like a really good puzzle game, I still wouldn't probably get into. What is how y'all beautiful people doing? Charming us all right at the gate, Bolty. Beastie, sorry. He's throwing me for a loop. Beastie says, not gonna lie, I thought Meta was dead. Well, man, we got a lot of VR news, man. We got Apple coming in. Apple potentially has been working with Hideo Kojima to make a video game, and they're working on it for 4 years. And we're gonna release a headset. The only thing that sucks is in comparison to Meta's $500 headset, the new Meta Quest 3, Apple is gonna potentially release a $2,000 to $3,000 headset. So, woof. But yeah, so it's good if companies are trying to actually develop software for it, then that's cool. But everyone has the feeling of like, oh, I hope people don't just get in here to sell a shitty version of a headset, make their money, and then leave without investing in infrastructure. Apple's decent about that. That seems satisfying. Power wash simulator, ooh. But this time in VR so you can perceive depth. I wonder if that would be more satisfying or less. I wonder. Bodhi says, haha, I mean the VR headsets with affordable. What do you mean? What does that mean? Beastie says, although ready for some video game. Yeah, man, I'm happy that we're finally getting some games. Some games. It's been a minute. It's been a tiny minute. All right, let's turn off the sound. Let's boost this up. All right. Hopefully we get to see some shit. Again, everyone is hoping. The main thing that if I could give a voice to the community, which I'm sure is going to be off, to the VR community that I'm like injecting myself in. A lot of people, their frustration with Meta is that their biggest plight is that they have a ton of money, so they buy up developers from really good games, and they don't do anything with them. They kind of like just grab them and just say, I don't know, just exist, rather than getting them to release something. So it's kind of like a joke in the industry of the thing where like if Meta buys you, you're dead. It sucks. So hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully they've been working on stuff this whole time. I don't know. But it does seem like Meta's also starting to change their tact and actually realizing that this metaverse shit isn't exactly it yet. We need to make games. We need to make experiences that pull people into the game. So people are hoping with this game showcase that we're actually going to see games. The only thing that people are also worried about, and this is where I come from, Meta has been hard-pressed to not deviate from, what is it called? The basically having standalone hardware. All of the games about to see, even the ones you'll see the first time, is slated to launch within the next year. Oh wow, all these games are going to release this year. There's always a risk of games slipping, yeah, but we want to show you games you've been playing rather soon rather than later. Okay, sooner rather than later, got it. That said, there are so many amazing games in development that aren't in today's show. If you don't see a game you're looking forward to, sit tight. You'll see some games eventually. Okay, so we're going to see all games that are coming out this year, but some games, of course, we're still working on it. So, like, if you don't like anything, we have more. But yeah, Meta's, a lot of the games that Meta makes sometimes look gross because it's restrictive to only being able to run on the headset itself without being able to dip into external power like PC. That's why people determine Meta VR versus PC VR. PC VR is like you're powering your headset with your PC, not just your like shitty iPhone on your face, you know? So Trop says, hey, just before
Welcome
20
everyone
nice.
to our 3rd annual MetaQuest Gaming Showcase.
Let me know if you can't hear
I'm
it.
thrilled to be back hosting, and it's a big day. This morning, Mark Zuckerberg shared that our MetaQuest 3, our next-gen VR headset, is launching later this year. MetaQuest 3 is our follow-up to MetaQuest 2 and will feature advanced tech that opens up new possibilities in both VR and MR.
It's the highest selling VR
It will
headset
also
ever.
be backwards compatible with Quest 2's
Not the 3,
entire
the 2.
library of over 500 games and apps. Later in the show, we'll explore Oculus Studio's biggest and most immersive game ever with a gameplay deep dive.
Ooh.
A game that will take advantage of MetaQuest 3's cutting-edge hardware. We have way more to share when MetaQuest 3 releases, including specs, more apps and experiences, and a whole slate of groundbreaking MR content. These are all stepping stones toward our long-term vision for building the metaverse. But for today's showcase, it's all
they'd
about
ease
VR
up on that.
games. Every title you see today will be playable on both MetaQuest 2 and 3, and is currently set to launch in the next 12 months. So let's get started.
Why did they put that blurb in there if she's just going to be like, hey, by the way, here's what's happening. Get up. It's a lot to ask, honestly.
Are you ready?
For bongo drums? Okay. You're going to get up for bongo drums. Well, see, this is exactly the best way to describe it. Beat Saber exists, you know what I mean? Beat Saber looks pretty fucking good. There's like lighting effects, there's combustible things all around you. That makes sense. But then there's this. And Meta's like, this is the same, right? It looks like it came out in 2001. But yeah, it's enough. And you're like, well, could we come back a little bit? And maybe, I don't know, half and half? Most people have an Xbox. Why don't you work with Microsoft to make fucking some sort of thing where you can move power from their Xbox? Something. The processing power from their Xbox? Anyway. Man, Xbox is so funny, by the way. They're just sitting back like, we just have our Game Pass and we're just killing it. Leaving me alone.
Samba de Amigo in
Let's
VR.
go. Shake.
I cannot be more excited because music is such an important part of my life. I was a professional musician for years, and at Meta, I've gotten to work with the talented teams behind a bunch of other rhythm games. Playing Samba de Amigo in VR feels like it's always belonged here. And I can't wait to see everyone shaking their maracas when Sega brings the game to the MetaQuest store this fall.
It's maracas.
Back in February, Shell Games revealed I Expect You to Die 3, Cog in the Machine. Today, I can confirm that this 3rd helping of Spy Hijinks, or Spyjinks, is coming to the MetaQuest store this year.
Okay, this might be cool.
Hopefully your skills haven't gotten too rusty, because this threequel will send agents on their most challenging mission yet. Confront more villainous villains, tackle more perilous perils, and expect to die a few more times.
I've heard nothing but good
You
things
are
from this game.
Either very strong, or that steering wheel was not attached correctly.
It's a cute game. Very cute, puzzle-ish kind
Dr.
of game.
Roxana Prism is a former inventor for the
Is it a
agency.
sequel?
She truly believes she can create a better agent.
Oh, hey, I'm a butler.
You'll either prove her wrong, or prove her right. You're dead in that second scenario.
Once you're dead, everyone will see just how superior my robots are to human agents.
Hey, you found some nickel. Do it
This is
again,
like a
you'll
great
have
stream
10
game.
cents.
Sorry, by the way, that bongo game, I was just thinking, you didn't choose like a drum set? You chose maracas. Because when I think of music, I think of maracas. Not like what? Jesus. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. I'm sure it's like basically a music game that is an exercise game in disguise.
Aren't they great? Sometimes I look at them because they make me happy.
Is that a sequel?
You don't have to
Yeah,
play
number
the
3.
series in order, but if you'd like to, you'll find the first 2 games bundled in the MetaQuest store for 40% off
Pretty
for
good.
a limited time.
Look, I've heard nothing but
That's
the good
not
things
all
from those
Shell
games.
Games is working on. They made a promise at last year's showcase. 3 games over the next 2 years. Hot off the press, let me introduce you to Silent Slayer, Vault of the Vampire. Silent Slayer is a single-player horror game that'll bring you face-to-face with slumbering vampires.
I don't like being scared.
And as you might guess from the title, stealth is key to survival. As Shell Games puts it, silence is golden, sound is death. Spooky. Let's take
You
a
know what
peek.
everyone says about VR? They're like, I want to play more scary games because it's not immersive enough, actually. I don't shit myself enough playing a VR scary game.
At last. Aim for the center of the chest. And
Okay.
do not be gentle.
The issue with horror games in VR is usually that if you don't like role play as a scared guy, you'll just run at an enemy going like this. And then your immersion will be broken and it'll look clunky and then you just stop. Also, that was not a lot to see, bud. But you know, it's vampires. At least it's not zombies.
At last year's showcase, we revealed Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord. And then I got to drive off into the sunset in the iconic Ecto-1. For this year's show, Sony Pictures VR and nDreams put together a little dossier on the Ghost Lord himself. Who is he, and how did he get to be so mean? Along the way, we'll get a glimpse of the West Coast's first Ghostbusters HQ,
Saga
some
being
iconic
Saga.
San Francisco landmarks, and the spirits and specters that you'll be trapping there with your friends. Let's take a look.
At the very least, this is a pretty creative idea. Okay, like you know, Ghostbusters, you can't really interact with stuff. You know, a lot of VR games handle that shit head on though. Like the whole like melee, you can't perceive weight, so it's like an uphill battle.
Well, you don't know my story. 1984. My research brought me to Columbia University, where I studied under the Ghostbusters. They dismissed my work, called it dangerous. But in San Francisco, I can show them, with its untapped cauldron of the undead. Where others saw fear, I saw subjects.
Capture on PC.
How could I know my research would stir a dormant evil? The Ghost Lord. Alcatraz. Tortured souls, whose guilt I could drain and drain again. Their pain, the price of progress. My dear assistant Katie understands. Soon everyone will understand. Especially you, Ghostbusters, with your silly parlor tricks. You will see the progress I have made. Know the power I have harnessed. You will realize that I, Gustav Hookfather, am the genius who gave the world endless, clean energy. The Ghost Lord is coming. What have I brought upon the world?
It looks pretty.
Time of the Ghost
It looks
Lord
cute.
is here.
I will say though, man, like even though they said it's running on PC, like PC footage, it still looks kind of like again. It shows that how like it's like when making a game for the lowest, like the oldest gen console can be a little rough. Yeah, even when you boost up the graphics, you can only boost them up so much because they, yeah. Anyways,
Check
looks
this
neat.
out. The team let me into the San Francisco Ghostbusters HQ a little early.
Why would they spend
and
so
it's
much
still under
money
construction, but
suiting
I've
you
got
up?
my proton pack,
Damn.
my PKE meter, and I know exactly who I'm teaming up with to take out the Ghost Lord. Because if there's one thing you could say about me, is that I ain't afraid of no ghost.
She's fine. I just feel like it's such a excessive amount of money to do that one
Anyway.
shot. You know?
When we asked
Do you
One
get enough out of
Concept,
that? I don't know.
developers of Rocket NX, what's something players will love about your new game? They said, you can lose an arm, then pick it back up and bash your enemies with it. There you go. Underdogs is a physics-based brawler where you wrap yourself in your 5-ton gorilla mech and rampage through New Bracca, the 22nd century mech fighting capital of the world. Take on whatever the pitmasters throw your way and upgrade your mech to be even more fearsome. But remember, the more you climb the ranks, the more every lowlife in the city will be gunning for you. So get ready to claw your way up the food chain.
Is it like Gorn with like mechs?
Yo, this city ain't never gonna let two base boys like us in.
Okay, dystopian.
This the jungle out here, bro. If we wanna get into New York,
All right. I think Red might be into
we're gonna
this.
have to fight like.
I don't hate this. And the art style makes the like less good graphics pretty fire. I like this. It's like a callback to those weird movies. Remember back in the day there were like these weird like go-kart, not go-kart, what do you call it? Little tiny RC cars that used to fight. I love the art style. It's like a good way to not take too much processing power, is make it dark and then amp it up with lighting like neon. This is kind of a win. And there's like a competitive leaderboard and shit. It does seem like it does have that thing where when you hit an enemy, they just get stunned, so then you just dissolve into this. Just trying to hit them as many times to keep that stun going. But that looks cool. That's one. We have one that looks neat. We've seen 4 or 5, but actually no, this buy one.
NFL Pro Era, the first NFL and
we can talk over
NFLPA
this one.
licensed VR
But this is
football
interesting.
sim. Since the game's launch
Never
last
seen,
October, you've completed over 3 million NFL seasons
so
and
it's already been
unlocked
gone.
over 9 million trophies.
Weird.
But what's next? Here to tell you is Status Pro president and co-founder and former NFL wide receiver, Andrew Hawkins.
Thanks, Ruth. Our goal last year at Status Pro was to give people the experience of being NFL QB1, feeling the rush of stepping onto the field and leading your favorite NFL team to victory. And the positive response we got from our community was overwhelming.
VR horror games are on a different level.
Later this year, we're upping the game with the next evolution of NFL Pro Era. This year is all about showing the world what you've got. With the new version of NFL Pro Era, we're expanding multiplayer so you and your best friend can pit your favorite teams against each other and see who comes out on top. There's a world of competition out there, and we want to see how our community's QB skills stack up. We got a lot more to share, though, between now and launch. New features, new modes. This is more than a roster update. The next version of NFL Pro Era will build on last year's game in so many cool ways, and we cannot wait to get it in your hands. Check us out on social. We posted a lot of community and game updates there before we launch this fall. This is really cool, by the way.
Thanks, Hawk. All right.
That's another thing. How expensive is that whole environment?
Back in
Even
December,
the CG, if it
Resolution
is.
Games,
rough.
creators of Blastin' and Demio, revealed their latest project, Racket Club, an all-new sport designed exclusively for VR. Practice your swing solo,
Meta.
play pickup matches with people all around the world, or just hang out and socialize
Man, when
courtside
people
with
say
your
we want
friends
games, we
in
don't want
this
like
one-of-a-kind
Nintendo Wii.
sports complex.
Sports games.
Here's a new look at Racket Club.
Like, we hurry ya. Here's everything that's not a game. It's like a kind of game. It's like, here's a racing game. Here's a sports game. Okay. Sure. Here's a fucking badminton game. I'm sure it's great. It just doesn't make you feel like, yeah, baby, I'm waiting, counting the days till that game comes out. The Rock'em Sock one was pretty cool. But yeah. As far as what Red said basically it's just keeping the norm of every game showcase, having like a kind of a synthetic speaker. It's not their fault. It's just that, like, you know, they're paid to be a voice basically of whatever the writers write. But I will say it is weird when, like, I feel like you should probably try to hire the person that at least gives off the vibe that they are into this. Like, you know, they play these kinds of games. They're massively excited about this weird shit. Sorry, I'm trying to, like, it's neat. It's always creative seeing how people kind of use the fact that most people don't have a gigantic ass house, so they have just a tiny little 4 foot by 4 foot type of movement. So they're like, you box them in. It's cute. That'd be fun. See, this stuff, like, if you got if Meta was like, here's a service,
I premiered the launch
we're just gonna throw all these kind of okay
Oblivion
games.
Afterlife from Fast Travel Games. It was the first VR game set in the world of darkness. And today, we're diving back into the world of supernatural horror with an all-new adventure RPG, Vampire: The Masquerade Justice, which will send you to Venice.
No.
But not the Venice you see on postcards.
No.
You are a vampire, comfortable in the city's darkest shadows. Hide in plain sight, drink the blood of mortals, and use your vampiric abilities to become the ultimate judge of the guilty.
I love Vampire Masquerade.
Without further ado, let's sink our teeth into the debut trailer for Vampire: The Masquerade Justice.
They have not launched anything, okay? Anything in such a long time. There's 2 games that we have no idea about. I think they all got canceled. They did. Then they tried to do like a quick VR battle royale game, and it was good. But yeah, oh man, if this is it, that's awesome. If this can happen, great. But fuck me, I don't have any faith.
Square one. Hiding in the night.
Okay, we got some werewolves maybe too. I mean, it sounds awesome.
I didn't want to get dragged into this.
Like Bone Lab, physics engine, climbing, but you have like powers and like items. Looks like you play a woman. Sweet. Badass tattoos
You do
and
well
shit.
to remember that.
A little bit Dishonored-y. Or Clunk, of course.
Things very uncomfortable for you.
If it can happen, sure. They haven't released anything. You know?
Next, an
Maybe a
adventure
new
that
studio
never
just
needs
got
to
the
end.
IP.
This one is special to me. It's developed by Othergate, a studio co-founded by 4 VR veterans who I used to work with for years on the Oculus Studios team on our very first and super popular franchise, Dead and Buried. I know firsthand that these guys are masters at making fun multiplayer games, and I am honored to announce their next project, Dungeons of Eternity. This 1 to 3 player dungeon crawler generates levels from hundreds of unique chambers, so no 2 trips are the same. You'll explore dark crypts, ruined castles, and deep caverns.
These don't have PS2
Battle
graphics.
monstrous enemies
See.
with melee and magic.
But I'm in.
Solve puzzles, avoid traps, gather loot, escape back to safety, level up, and then do it all over again in a brand new dungeon. Take a look.
All right. They have the Okay, looks decent. They have the infinite, it's dark, but they have the infinite variability, which you need in a VR game because there's not that many VR games, so you need to play a game a lot. Yeah. Oh, it's co-op. If it's co-op, that explains a lot. That actually seems really fun. I was going to be cruel on the graphics, but no, if your friend can be out there. Huh. And just climbing? The fact that it's co-op makes it okay. It's a little PS2-y graphic-wise, but again, the fact that it's you can play with your buds and actually like do parkour in front of your friend, that's sick. Your friend could be an archer. It could be potions. It'd be so cool if your friend could be like an alchemist and like legitimately like you're fighting a war and he's just sitting there making potions, and then throws you one that makes you like a giant or something. I don't know how this won't dissolve into all your friends just dogpiling on one enemy going, and you're all just doing this. Just doing this for 20 minutes. I love VR, guys. It's impossible to not be like, hey. Okay.
We brought back Samba de Amigo, but we must have other beloved classics waiting in the wings, right? How about one of the best-selling games of the 90s? An iconic mystery, maybe? Something a little spooky? Yeah, I think we have one like that.
Yeah, hopefully we don't get a cycle of trash games. Hopefully we get like a game where people invest the hell out of it. Did they say Vertigo Games? That's the guy that made Vertigo 2, probably. Based on a classic bestseller. Was our hand a skeleton? Kind of. I don't hate it.
It's
kind of like a story game.
Don't be afraid.
Please don't tell me there's puzzles.
There are many like me here, trapped in this house.
Dude, I'd actually be down for that. If it was just a really good linear story VR game without puzzles, I'd be hype.
the guests arrive.
There it is.
Stout.
There it is. We have to make it a game, so here's a fuck ton of puzzles that stop you from enjoying the story and all that. Great. Awesome. I'm being negative again, I apologize. But man, I would love that. Just imagine you're sitting like you're hearing a story about how like you're going into this house, turns out the house is alive, you're spit out into different dimensions and shit. Fire.
Is mostly known for ushering in the CD-ROM era, once upon a time. But it's a great puzzle adventure game. And it's cool to see Vertigo Games and Vertigo Studios Rotterdam staying true to the original, but reimagining it for a new era. The team is using volumetric video to capture the live action performances of actors to help tell the game's story. They're also fully recreating the iconic mansion in 3D for the first time. Just don't be surprised if it starts changing shape around you. It is haunted after all. In addition to The Seventh Guest, Vertigo is working on Arizona Sunshine 2, a sequel to one of the most popular games from VR's early days.
That's awesome.
This one people have been waiting to see
Yep.
for a long time, including me. You might have seen the CG reveal recently, but today we have another
PlayStation,
short
our
teaser
competitor.
for you.
Hook 2.
Time to say hello to your old pal Freddy, and hello to a new friend as well.
Give me gameplay. Give me some actual gameplay. Let me see it, okay? Because last time you just showed us like weird pre-rendered animated only, not actual gameplay. Oh, sorry.
Oh, come on. What's going on, Fred? Hold up. Allow me to show you how it's done. Nice, but... Oh, yeah. That's gonna do.
Zombies are just as awful as they've always been.
Get a room. You know that only counts as one.
I felt worse than nothing on that one.
In
All right.
Arizona Sunshine 2, you'll survive the desolate waste of Arizona with your new best friend, Buddy, who you can trust to have your back, even when Freddy's are trying to take a bite out of it. Arizona Sunshine 2 launches later this year, so be sure to check out the game's extended CG reveal trailer if you haven't already. Okay. Last November, Netflix and Tenderclaws revealed that the hit series Stranger Things is coming to VR.
I've seen this. People are excited.
I hope you're comfortable in the Upside Down, because you're going to be spending a lot of time there. In this
Worst sell ever.
chilling psychological horror experience, you are Vecna, invading people's minds
VR
and
sickness
conjuring up
is
their worst nightmares
terrifying to
as you
people.
look to take revenge on Eleven and her friends. Stranger Things VR comes to MetaQuest store later this year. And here is a brand new trailer.
Well, what do you call it, Fred? They haven't even like released a game of it. Like I don't even think there's been a game that's actually like went live from the Masquerade series. So like everyone wants to make it, but no one wants to actually like release.
To transcend my human form.
This looks really cool, and it's interesting seeing how like so many developers are like just fighting for their life to try to get a game on both hardware, the Quest 2 and the new Quest 3. A part of me just wishes they would say, I don't know, man. It's tough because like it seems like everything looks really. You can see that it's like looks PS2 era kind of weird graphics, and they're not like they don't really leverage the stylization of things, you know. And it's crazy because like Bone Lab, they made Bone Lab run on the Quest 3. Bone Lab's a really good looking game, you know. So I don't know how they did it, but yeah. And this looks good, great. Again, everything I'm always seeing here, I'm always like, hopefully it'll look better on PC, like PC VR. Because most people have like a tiny laptop. If they got the code right to like take even a tiny laptop with a little bit more juice and then to also utilize the headset's power equally, that'd be
Next,
awesome.
It's time to strap into your omnidirectional mobility
But they
gear
can only do one or the
and
other.
prepare to fight the unthinkable. Attack on Titan is a best-selling manga series.
This is interesting.
Acclaimed anime adaptation. And now, thanks to the team at Universe, an exhilarating VR game.
Surprisingly,
Attack on Titan VR Unbreakable lets you join the Scout Regiment and go head-to-head with the Titans themselves.
this kind of
Swing
movement.
through the air using your ODM gear and take down enemies many times your size as you try to protect the last vestiges of humankind. Some of you may already be familiar with this game because we teased it late last year, but you didn't get to see the game's dynamic, high-flying battles. Today you will.
This kind of movement isn't that bad. It's surprising. You might think, oh my god, how are you not get motion sick? But like Gorilla Tag and all these games have you fleeing yourself. It's usually when your head tilts like this that you get a little bit banged up. Pre-rendered animated gameplay only. Yeah, dude, this definitely speaks to. There's like an investor thing where it seemed like Meta at the last minute, like I shit you not, maybe like 4 months ago, pivoted to being like, okay, we need to start making games because they're the only thing that makes us money. And because we don't have any actual gameplay or anything like that, we just have some like what seems like really quick thrown together animated trailers. It kind of to me backs up that feeling of like new leadership being like, what the fuck are we doing? Why are we not investing in games? And why are we not like making our #1 customer base happy? And they shout out this really quick because a lot of these have just been CGI trailers that look really scuffed. Like I don't think anyone watches that and thinks, oh my god, I get to play a PS2 era video game in 2023.
Back in 2011,
you know, like
Polish developer People Can Fly, the creators behind Outriders and Painkiller, introduced the world to skill shots. Blast an enemy out of the air, skill shot.
No,
Kick him into a cactus, skill shot.
That's Bulletstorm.
Crush somebody under a hot dog
Did they?
cart.
Oh, they did. Oh, sorry. Yeah, they did.
You get the idea.
That was the,
Now imagine how creative you could get with that system in VR. Forget imagining it. We've got it. Here's your first look at Bulletstorm in VR.
Ooh, oh, okay. They didn't make a new VR game. They just ported Bulletstorm. Okay, it's cool. It's kind of dope. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. It's an old enough game that like it could run on shitty hardware, but like run with newer chips and whatnot. But I hope I can play it on PC because this actually is awesome. I'm happy I didn't play the Bulletstorm a while ago. You can reload. What was that reload? Come on, I want to see that reload detail. Did it look like it was flushed out or was it kind of half-assed? Did it just magic into the gun? We do have hands. That's positive. You can do wield. I forgot about that. Again, I'm excited, but it looks so gross. It looks mushy. Maybe I'm a graphics whore. Golly. Like, show me all of what it is on PC max settings. Like, lie to me, at least. Like, at least I'm excited. Now I'm just like, well, I mean, I'm the opposite type of person. I was like, show me actual gameplay. I'm like, I want to be excited.
All know and love. Every skill shot, every story beat, fully recreated from the ground up for VR. And for the first time,
it could be fun.
You'll actually be able to handle an energy leash.
I don't disagree it will be fun. I disagree that it looks a little rough.
And mow down hordes of mutated enemies. So book your ticket to the
it's an
Planet
actual
Stygia
full game
for later
like
this year.
12 hours, yeah.
And thanks to People Can Fly and Incuvo for bringing such a fun project to life. Okay, before we start talking about our final game, I know you've been waiting for an update on Assassin's Creed in VR. And I have good news. Assassin's Creed Nexus is coming to the MetaQuest store by the end of the year.
This game's been
Tune
in
into
talks for a
Ubisoft
while.
Forward on June 12th for the full reveal of Assassin's Creed Nexus. All right.
I'm curious how it'll be,
I
man.
promised you a deep dive. Let's get into it.
I think it could work.
In 2019, Asgard's Wrath took us on an epic journey across the fabled 9 realms of Norse mythology.
It's one of the highest rated
That
VR
journey
games.
ended here, imprisoned in this very tavern by the trickster god Loki. But Destiny has more in store for you. From Sanzaru Games and Oculus Studios, this is the world premiere of Asgard's Wrath 2.
Sweet, people are hyped. It's gonna be sick. Again, who would have thought people want a RPG VR game? What? Captured in-game actual gameplay. Is that right? All right, I didn't finish the reading. I think it's what it said.
He must not be stopped.
Sick. Oh yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Has made you stronger, Guardian.
This game was touted for having like an amazing story. The way they utilized VR was super creative. Weapons were fun. Like a god that basically inhabits like legends, essentially. So you get to play like Athena and all these things. You get different weapons. It looks a little rough because it's running up to that, but apparently this game was one of the best games that came out for VR.
exact your
I never played it. I wanted it eventually. Dude, imagine that in VR is gonna look so crazy because you can actually perceive depth. What? Did you just jump out from that person's shadow? Ooh. That's sick of the harp. Those are all the characters I guess you're playing. Asgard's Wrath. Yeah, this is a game I want to go back and play. People say it's so good. It's also old. It came out like I think it was one of the first VR games. People said it was great. Yeah.
Asgard's Wrath 2 is an all-new standalone adventure in this epic series.
Oh, I see. Gameplay may vary.
Freed from prison by the Weavers of Fate, you'll set out on a new quest across time and space. From the Norse realms to the deserts of ancient Egypt. Here on the Great Sand Sea, you'll once again battle gods and creatures of myth to stop Loki from upending all of creation. When the original Asgard's Wrath released on PC VR, it wowed players with its jaw-dropping scale, brutal physics-based combat, and stunning graphics. Asgard's Wrath 2 will set a whole new standard for wireless VR. This is the deep and immersive action RPG that you've been waiting for. Packing enormous, free-roaming environments, gorgeous visuals, and well over 60 hours of exploration and tense combat into MetaQuest 2 and MetaQuest 3.
60 hours? Okay.
Today, my friend Matt Kramer, head of design at Sanzaro Games, will take us on a tour of the team's groundbreaking title. Everything you're about to see was captured in-game. Matt, the mic's yours.
All right. That's huge.
Thanks, Ruth. I'm so excited to show everyone what we've been working on at Sanzaro these last few years. Asgard's Wrath 2 picks up where the first game left off, in a mysterious tavern you can't escape from. You're suddenly thrust into battle with a giant creature, clearly from another realm. Just when you think all is lost, you encounter the Weavers of Fate, a trio of beings that set you off upon your adventure to find and stop Loki.
This is sick.
So just how much bigger is this game? Not only will you travel through new Asgardian locations, like Muspelheim, the Land of Fire, the Weavers of Fate will also bring you into new realms, like the vast desert expanse of ancient Egypt. These massive worlds, beyond the scope of any other game on the MetaQuest platform, come alive in Asgard's Wrath 2.
Imagine if this was just PC.
Caves and dungeons.
I want everyone to win.
Characters to meet.
Travel well.
Monsters to battle.
It's an RPG. So all the tropes of RPG.
Quests and side quests.
Skills.
Wildlife. Crafting resources. Mini games and more. This is a living world you can roam and explore freely. The most expansive of these worlds is the Great Sand Sea, full of hidden treasures and unique events.
Dude, there are scenes that make it look really good.
Hours upon hours exploring this map and still not discover all its secrets. You might decide to prove your combat prowess by hunting rare, high-level monsters that roam the sands, or gather plants or animal parts to craft useful consumable goods, such as bait to attract wildlife, or a ward that provides a temporary AoE benefit wherever you throw it. But it's not all about survival. Kick back and fish.
It's got some
or
clunk.
beat your high
Let's
score
be
at the
honest, but
slingshot
I'm
shooting
extremely
gallery.
excited. This has a lot of like
There's
shit that
no
you can
shortage
do.
of stuff to do and see outside the primary quest line. These worlds are so big, you're going to want some more speed as you move through them. Luckily, you'll have the power of a god at your fingertips. As with Asgard's Wrath, you'll be able to transform a few brave animals into unique warrior followers to help you solve puzzles and eviscerate enemies. New in this game, they'll serve as powerful mounts that can carry you swiftly across the massive realms of Asgard's Wrath 2. Of course, what's fast on foot or mount can look very different to a god.
What's good, Fluff? We getting a VR
Like
RPG.
Asgard's Wrath, you'll also see the world from the god-scale perspective and use your cosmic powers to manipulate the mortal world around you. reach inaccessible areas, solve puzzles.
It's a little snappy, but it looks dope. Parkour!
You can't save the world alone, though. Egypt is full of would-be heroes who need your godly assistance to enter the realm of legend. Each hero in Asgard's Wrath 2 is completely unique. Different weapons, different skills and abilities, and different strengths. By possessing these mortals, you can help them fulfill their destinies and get closer to yours as well. The first of these heroes is Abraxas, a cynical tomb robber with a grudge against the gods. You and Abraxas make an unlikely pair, but you'll have to work together to take down fearsome enemies like the bloodthirsty goddess Sekhmet. Abraxas seeks vengeance against Sekhmet for the murder of his father. With his boomerang axe, whip sword, and bladed shield at your command, he'll stop at nothing to defeat her.
That's gonna be crazy in VR.
Combat was one of the aspects players loved most about Asgard's Wrath, us included. It was vicious and brutal. Whether swinging a sword, throwing an axe, or even using your fists, the combat made you feel powerful and skilled. In the first game, the combat favored a defense-first approach, meaning you had to block and parry a series of enemy attacks before you had a chance to remove their runic shields. This loop had to be completed.
They just stand there and be like, "Get me! Kill me! Slice my head off with my arms! Do it!"
In Asgard's Wrath 2, our updated combat system is centered around player choice. Nothing is holding you back. You can chip away at enemy shields through a flurry of attacks or land skilled parries to trigger opportunity windows that let you cut through your enemy's defenses.
That's pretty sick. So you have companions, you have
We've also expanded the system
RPG skills,
elemental types for a greater degree of player customization,
rarity in weapons,
and wider variety amongst enemy archetypes. This time, we have a full physics system implemented for weapons, with swords, axes, bows, staffs, and more at your disposal. You can find a combat style that's right for you. But you'll need to change up your approach, as enemies will now react to your every movement and switch up their own attacks.
That's pretty sick.
You'll also unlock new skills and
You
abilities
take it, no, I
as
take
you
it, you
level
take
up, letting you invest further in the weapons you use most. Unlock powerful abilities and super attacks to truly change
Shield
the game.
bash to have an effect
Nothing
like that? That's
feels better
creative.
than seeing your weapon soar into the air and rain down on a horde of enemies.
Okay, I'm surprised.
You'll
Some creative
also discover
move.
relics you can slot into your weapons and armor that will provide you with powerful buffs, like adding fire damage to your weapon or heal over time.
I want to see PC
allowing
gameplay
you to
because if it
customize
looks
your
good
weapon
and it has
set
all these
against
features,
each
whew.
enemy you face. But you won't be the only one leveling up. Your animal followers have their own skill trees. and will
Oh,
grow in
dude.
power the more you
This
spend
has a
time
lot
with
of
them.
more depth than RPGs
Even
nowadays.
with an upgraded companion and all these powers at your disposal, don't think the enemy AI will go easy on you. As you level up, so will they, gaining new abilities, smarter tactics, sneaky counters, stronger armor, powerful super attacks, and relics to use against you. Some will even heal each other, boost each other's damage.
Them saying 60 hours actually
or
feels
call
appropriate
for
with all that they've shown.
reinforcements. You'll have to use all the strength, endurance, speed, and quick thinking you can muster to forge a path through the ravenous enemies that lay between you and your destiny. For a true challenge and the
More?
opportunity to earn bragging rights amongst your friends.
Oh, they have a competitive
you can
thing.
Step into the Uncharted Rifts, an infinitely replayable dungeon crawling mode with exclusive
idea.
loot that you can
You had
take
mod
back
support,
with
it'd be
you
perfect.
into the main campaign. The rifts are always open, so you can visit at any point during or even after the campaign and put your skills against some of the toughest time-limited challenges the rifts have to offer. Face increasingly ferocious enemies as you delve deeper into these endless labyrinths, encountering the ghosts of players who fell victim to the rifts before you. Whether friend or foe, these specters will be part of your dungeon, helping or hindering your progress.
Oh.
Survive long enough, and you'll earn a spot on the leaderboards.
Dude, they brought the
and
music
those
with
precious
this.
bragging rights. The Uncharted rifts are deep and full of mystery. They're almost like a whole game on their own.
Yeah.
And we've barely scratched the surface of all the unique dangers you'll encounter.
Even if they don't,
I hope that this first
even if it
look
doesn't
at
look
Asgard's
that
Wrath
great,
2 has you
which I think it will look
excited.
much better on
We've
PC
got
VR,
so much more to show you. More
this has
heroes,
so much
more companions,
content,
more
like
gods, Loki and
gameplay
anomalies.
viability,
I can't wait to show you more.
like gameplay things, mechanics
Back
going
to you,
on.
Ruth.
I'll take it. Even if it looks like shit, I'll still take a mechanically dense game because that's my crave right now. But man, that looks decent.
Now head over to the MetaQuest store because pre-orders of Asgard's Wrath 2 are open.
Yeah.
Pre-order and you'll get a copy of the original Asgard's Wrath on PC. You don't have to play it before, but it'll add some fun context. You'll also get immediate access to the Great Sand Sea home environment I'm standing in now, and unlock an exclusive Asgard's Wrath 2 themed character, as well as the title of Cosmic Guardian in Population 1. And once Asgard's Wrath 2 launches later this year, those who pre-ordered will get access to the Sword of Ra and the Sun God's battle armor.
So the JRPG.
That's the end of our main showcase, but stick around for more because up next, we have some of the most passionate VR creators sitting down to discuss the games from the show. And while you're there, we're running a sale on favorites like NFL Pro Era, Resident Evil 4,
Let's
Omen,
talk.
Among Us, and many more. And like last year, we're also giving away this awesome room I'm standing in. It's available now in settings under Home Environments. Of course, there's so much more we want to share with you. We plan to announce more games, major updates to existing titles, and we've got a whole new headset to launch. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and thanks to the developers who helped put this show together. Keep playing, and we'll see you next year.
Okay, let's talk. Also, let me catch up on chat. I'm so sorry, guys. I've been neglecting the hell out of the other voices here. Why isn't that playing? No, it is. I just can't hear it really well. There we go. All right. Let's talk. So first things first. My theory about this thing, I think, was correct, which was a lot of people's theory, not just mine. But the idea basically being that Meta has had new leadership within their thing, their division for who's leading Quest and Meta and stuff like that. Essentially, the main thing was, how do I put it? Basically, they started to change. Oh, we're not making money in any other way besides video games. In fact, that's our number one best-selling thing. So then they're going to pursue that. They're starting to pursue that, but it does seem like that was a recent change, like a recent massive change from leadership to change and then go into all of this other stuff. So to me, I think that's what we're seeing a lot of. We're seeing like them, because we've seen a lot of honestly, some pretty horrific trailers from CGI that the CGI didn't even look good. Like they didn't even want to lie to you in a nice way. You know, like when we seen Attack on Titan, it looks terrible, and they're like, this is not in-game footage. And I'm like, yeah, it looks worse than in-game footage. Even if it's on a PS, it looked terrible. Some of these trailers. But then again, I guess just trying to tell you that it exists, which to me seems like that's what 90% of the games that we just heard about were told. Like, hey, we need to bring the games. So give me a bunch of trailers. And they're like, we don't have any trailer. They're like, hey, just make a CGI trailer. And they're like, how, when? And they're like, 2 months from now. And they're like, what? And then they have to rush to do it. But also, man, this is okay, first of all, there's things to be excited about. We'll talk about that in a minute. But my God, this showcase shows to me clearly that the idea that Meta has, that where the headset itself holds everything, is a good idea, but it's a bad idea for the visual spectacle of what makes people excited. If you're not really into VR, then a lot of these things you don't know what to see. Like when I'm seeing Asgard's Wrath, I'm seeing there's going to be depth in this game. So when I'm looking at this giant colossus, I'm going to be bewildered at the fact that it's so gigantic. But on a flat screen, it doesn't give you that. Same thing with the idea of being able to get your little grubby hands on shit is extremely satisfying. But yeah, man, I don't know. I just feel like they should showcase like PC gameplay. Like, why not just do both? Like, I get that, yes, having standalone hardware is awesome. Like, I don't want them to move away from that because I never can afford a PC. But I do think that they should still show you, hey, like, this is the version of VR that is the best version of that thing, especially when you're releasing new hardware. If there's even a slight association with that hardware helping the game in any way, then that's awesome. Anyways, let's on a side note, that Assassin's Creed game, man, I actually have pretty high hopes for, because Blade and Sorcery, like, you can basically make Assassin's Creed in Blade and Sorcery right now, and it works. The only thing that's missing is a giant map to explore and to invest in. But the climbing stuff feels great. The death from above assassination feels great. The magic in that case, but there's also mods that like give you a crossbow, so you can totally do that as well. There's also mods that just give you like little spiky things to basically climb up any wall, so you don't have to grab edges if you don't want to, which is sick. But yeah, man, I'm excited for the Asgard's Wrath 2. That's sick. That's an RPG with extreme depth. That's awesome. There's this like awesome Rock'em Sock'em game that looked really dope. What else was there? There was Ghostbusters. It's okay. There's a lot of horror and puzzle games, man, which I just want to shake the shit out of Meta and be like, do those games sell well? I listen, like, the first thing I thought when I seen this, where is it? This son of a bitch, right here. I'm like, oh my god, I would totally be down to experience like a narrative story that is really engaging, that allows you like to mess around and feel like you're interacting with the world. You're seeing characters, you're able to walk around the room as a thing is playing out in front of you. That seems sick. But then they're like, let's put a bunch of puzzles in here to make it a game, then just to basically stop your progression to move forward. And the amount of detail and design in these puzzle games is beautiful. It's spectacular. It's extremely mind-numbing that there's so much effort given to those games, when I'm almost certain that there's like a 10% of the population that plays them. And to me, I'm like, if you guys just took you and took any like Azura's Wrath, or what do you call it? Not Azura's Wrath, Asgard's Wrath, or any of these like other shooter games, and you consolidated your power together, it'd be fucking crazy. Because you'd have not only a story that like is engaging and fun, but also mechanics that people actually want to mess around with and aren't like, I don't understand what's going on, let me quickly Google what the hell, how to solve this puzzle and do it, you know? But anyways, I don't know if there was anything I'm missing. The Vampire the Masquerade game, I think it sounds awesome if it can do what it's gonna do. Like, I think a vampire game sounds dope. The idea where you grab someone like in a physics engine and bite their neck and then you get health or some shit, that sounds wicked. The ambiance, the lighting makes it so they can render easier. That all makes sense. But there's such a bad track record with the Masquerade series, Vampire the Masquerade. If this is made by the same developers that have been working on the previous two games that still haven't come out and I think are canceled now, brutal. Like, I don't know if this game is going to exist. If they just sold the IP, the name, to another studio, then there's hope. But yeah. What else was there? There's the spy game. That game's always had a really good community love. Like, people just love it to bits. Again, the Attack on Titan one looks fucking painful. Looks like a shit show. Not actual gameplay, and even the gameplay looks horrible. Again, I think the game will be fun. To me, it's Meta is so held back by the fact they're so hell-bent on doing standalone gameplay, rather than, because like if you think about the most hyped VR games ever, it was Half-Life Alyx, it was Bone Lab, it was Bone Works. It's these games that show you like, hey, not only are you able to see something nice, but you're also able to affect the world in incredible ways. And again, flying through the air is kind of nice, but yeah. Bulletstorm Remaster, I was hating a little bit just because I thought like it looked rough. Like my frustration comes with Meta's inability to sell excitement, not the fact that the games won't be fun and good and engaging. That's what I want to be clear. With the exception of the puzzle games. Again, puzzle games, sure. I just think that like horror games, same way. Who is buying all of these horror games and puzzle games? Like I get some people, like the horror game stuff makes sense to me. It's a unique VR experience, but not everyone likes to get fucking terrified every single like night. So I don't know how they could sell to that extent well. But yeah, Bulletstorm, it looks dope. Anyways, let's catch up with chat. Sorry. I'm excited for two games. Bulletstorm, Asgard's Wrath, and there was one other one. And the Vampire one, which again, hopefully they they deliver. Azure Wrath, I think, will. Meta's gonna pump so much money into them that it can't fail because it's one of the most downloaded VR games ever. But I'm happy that they're actually developing like an RPG experience that is like equivalent to other types of things that you'd have. Again, the fact that they let you like level up your companion or mount or pet is something. Let's see. Let's catch up on everything. Fluff says, this seems up my alley as far as VR games go. Which one was it? Damn it. Perhaps I'm biased, but best Loki Tom Holland from Marvel movies, yeah. Fluff says, howdy. So it's a sequel to the new set in Egyptian game, Big Wama. Yeah, Asgard's Wrath. It's that whole thing. I think that's what we've seen beforehand. Fluff says, I have officially finished installing a ton of games to my new PC. Let's go, Fluff! Oh man, remember when you were telling me about this months and months ago when you were finally getting after it? Also, it's cool to see that we'll see Nexus for sure on Ubisoft Forward, which is happening on the 12th? Is that right? June 12th? I better mark that. Remind me that that's happening, guys, because I'll totes forget. Okay, it'll be a shit show. I still have around 3 terabytes of space left. That's amazing. Anthony and I are playing Gunfire Reborn, a new DLC released, and a new weapon and a character are quite fun. Have they fixed the problem, Fluff, where you have to you have to grind so much just to get to the new character? One of the Red Panda engineers and the Death Trap's equal companion. Ooh, okay. I'm gonna have to look that up. Fluff says, the one I've been playing is a mystical owl that draws star cards to bolster his ultimate and protect himself from close enemies. Golly, okay. Red says, you should get Resident Evil 4 VR GRINN. Is that the reboot one? I've heard great things about the old one, which is highly complicated. So Meta employed Capcom, or whoever made the Resident Evil series, to make a reboot, like an old reboot of the old Resident Evil 4, I think. And then Capcom made a reboot, or a remake, of Resident Evil 4, I think. But then Sony is getting Capcom to then make a remake or a VR equivalent of the new remake. And it's just like, god damn, there's like 3 VR games with one type of game. And you're like, Jesus. And if you like VR, you're set. You have 2 games. I still have to get a new Quest headset. The original is pretty limited, and they cut support for it. Well, Fluff, what do you call it? That's something that they released just now. I don't know, man. I mean, it's a $500 headset. The where is it? There it is. It's a $500 headset. So you can pause this. Stop yelling at me. This is the Quest 3. It's slimmer, it has stronger hardware, it also has a depth sensor, it looks more cozy. The controllers seem to be no longer, what's it called, like they lose themselves easier. Seems like there's greater connecting access to where their location is. They have sharpening and stuff like that. But it doesn't have eye tracking, which to me is insane because that would help so much with performance, which if this is standalone, it needs performance like crazy. So eye tracking would help with the rendering of wherever your eye looks. Again, there's pass-through, but we haven't seen any application that makes that super, super engaging. So it's kind of like a feature that, why? Anyway, yeah. So, there's no eye tracking. There's no wider lens, so it's not like you're able to see more, also there was a multiplayer game that I was excited for. Yeah, there was like a multiplayer VR game that looked pretty dope. But yeah, I don't know. It to me, it's neat, but it's not like for $500. I don't know if you're getting enough. I guess maybe I'm being selfish. Like wanting too much. I just want eye tracking. If I'm honest, I just want eye tracking, and I'm mainly after like a VR headset that doesn't need, it isn't standalone, because I just don't play standalone. You know what I mean? Like, again, VR is rough standalone. VR is like a brutal thing, when it's standalone. Fluff says, I still need to get a new headset for that. A VR doesn't translate well outside of VR. Yeah, man. Well, that's, to me, why you need to sell, like, the feeling of spectacle, which so many games are terrible at. Like, what is it called? There was a really good trailer here that I think did a decent job in some ways and did a really bad job in others. Where is it? It was like a multiplayer VR game. I think it's this. But yeah, you basically play with your friends in this dungeon area, and that actually shows pretty cool the idea of like you actually running around this world space. But yeah, so many games don't actually know how to like sell you on the feeling of like, oh my god, I'm actually climbing this. That's so fun. Like the idea of climbing a chain, how that could be a game in itself and fun is insane to say. But it is when you're sitting there like, and then you get better at it, and then you just rip up this chain like it's nothing, you know. It's weird, but I think it's true. But yeah, you play with your boys, and you're all playing different types of enemies. Looks great. Red says, yeah, I'm honestly really tired of all these announcements for games that won't release for years. Well, apparently, Red, they say everything is coming out this year, so that's something. I wish more announcements were like Fallout 4, one I released like 4 months from now. Yeah, well, they also said everything in this showcase will be coming out this year, so that's cool. This is coming out this year. Azura's, what is it called? Azura's Wrath, or I keep saying that, it's Asgard's Wrath. 2, that's coming out this year apparently. All these games coming out this year, which is nice. I guess they don't show gameplay, they show them talking. Yeah, let's go back to Asgard's Wrath. 90% of the time games all get delayed anyways, making the announcements even more frustrating. If it's not ready, don't show it. Yeah, that could be, that's probably your whole point, where like, yeah, even though we know that they're speculatively coming this year, based on a lot of these things. Oh, that's insane to me. Oh, never mind, we're fucked. We're absolutely screwed. They say all of these games are coming this year, and then they show us things like this. Like, you're saying that this is coming out in 12 months and you don't have any actual gameplay footage of it? You just have a CGI trailer, and even then, this game could be great. I just think that's crazy. You're gonna throw something together in 12 months? Fuck me. That's insane. And that wasn't the only game like this. So same thing with Masquerade, like, again, nothing beside, there's one game that seems like they actually put like a decent budget behind it, and even then, I don't know. I mean, like, I think so. Hopefully Asgard's Wrath has a decent budget around it, but yeah. I'm being a hater-ass bitch. I gotta calm down. I'm excited. Again, I wish there was a version of the showcase that showed what all these games look like with a really good PC. I don't have a good PC. I'm not gonna be able to see that, but at least it would make me excited for see what is the possibility of this thing, the potential, you know. Sadly, we live in a culture built around hype. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think they failed the hype. I think they failed on the don't get me wrong. There's going to be people who are super excited for these games because, again, as a VR person, you're like, this is going to look cool when I'm in there. Like, everything that you see in VR, like videos-wise, looks 50 times cooler in the game itself. So in your head, you're just doing quick math and being like, oh my god, I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to be able to craft potions. I'm going to be able to like hunt enemies and take their items and then actually do RPG things. Let's go. You know? Fluff says, none of the Vampire, the Masquerade games have been from the same studio. Oh, wow, okay. Well, then all of them have shit the bed really badly then, right? What is with that game being cursed? Someone smearing a bucket of Vaseline on camera for the Attack on Titan game. Love says, streamers buy the horror games. VR horror is hugely popular among streamers in Japan. Oh! Okay, that makes sense. And also, I don't hate the VR one as much as the puzzle one, because the VR one, like, unarguably, VR's whole thing is that it's immersive and it's makes you feel like you're in depth of the game, So I guess it's like one of the best versions of horror that you can get, or worst, I guess, versions of being scared that you can get. So I guess it kind of makes sense. When I say worse, I mean like you're gonna be shitting your pants. That's not a positive emotion, so it's weird to say like you're gonna be shitting yourself. It's like, yeah, it's the best worst time you could want. But no, that makes sense, especially for content wise. To me, like, I think that's one of the weird things that I do think. Like, there's always this argument of if you make videos for something, how much value are you bringing it? Like, are you, like, maybe there's just people seeing it who are interested in it, or very eventually see it, want it, etc. Maybe people who would never ever give this a chance at all are now excited, or like hear about you, and they're like, oh, this guy makes good games. Not the games I like, but if they ever did make a shooter, then I'd care about it more. But I don't know. The horror game is one of those weird ones where I think most people watch people experience horror games because it's too, especially in VR. But I guess, like Fluff's saying, it could be like a trend or a community specifically out there that likes these kinds of games. Fluff says, I'll need to keep an eye on Asgard's Wrath 2, especially to get the original. Yeah, it's on the list of us to eventually play in VR and to bang out. Even though it's an old game, people still say it's really good. But again, so let me be clear. I'm not. I think if I could like tap into what I think people really want from VR. Again, something as simple as, let's talk about a game that to me I think people were surprised at how much people love. And it's called Into the Radius. Into the Radius is a survival game where you're running around to like an empty void, picking up stuff, and doing all that. But one of the things that Into the Radius also has, Into the Radius also has, is that basically you can like, it goes into detail of all of the meticulous and sometimes frustrating things that you can do. So in order to keep your gun good, you have to literally clean your gun. In order to, buy certain items, if you don't want to just live in the purgatory hell of basically having to go to extremely deadly areas to get good weapons, you can then grab a bunch of salvage, sell that salvage, then buy a weapon. You can also go around your base, I think, and level up certain like places, which is great. I think you can also invest in like a shooting range or something like that. So there are these things that like allow VR. Again, I think if there was an RPG game where like just something that hasn't been done, if they have to be like really budget cutty on it and they have to make it really like ground level, can't spend excess on like different classes, why not make a VR game where you play as an alchemist? And you have a base, and you go around, and that's your whole shtick, is that you go around grabbing herbs, grabbing stuff, climbing up pillars, grabbing these roots or whatever, and constantly doing that, and then making these potions that have a variety of hopefully interesting effects. And then you could actually sit there and potion make. Again, if this was a bigger RPG, you could go and actually, this is what modders in Skyrim have done, where you can actually like forge essentially. It's a little clunky, but it gets the point across. And you can do all these things that would feel boring and frustrating in other games that feel like satisfying, and like if you like working with your hands in any capacity, you're gonna like this. It's that weird like feeling of that VR has, especially if you've ever played Into the Radius, which just feels really satisfying to do that. To like clean your gun and to have like all of your stuff in order, and it's like the OCD survival sim that you love. But that's something that I think people would want, is an RPG or anything that has that kind of same fiddle with random shit around your base, and hopefully your base can be upgraded. Things like that. Things that don't necessarily cost a lot. Like, I don't think... I think when you have like gigantic maps that are like ferociously detailed, like Half-Life Alyx, and that detail costs so much time. Granted, maybe it's just people are like don't know how to make complex engines. It feels like that's a skill that's getting less and less developed now, is like people who don't know how to code in something that's complex, has depth. It's usually like a surface level thing. It's usually modders that are the weirdos who are actually making that happen. But granted, also I feel like Blade and Sorcery is a great game that describes like the back end of it is trying to be as stable as it possibly can, so that modders can just plug shit in and it work, because otherwise if you plug too much stuff in, it all breaks. There's literally people who have like 300 mods in Blade and Sorcery and it's still running fine, which is crazy. Anyways, Fluff says, I need to keep an eye on Asgard Wrath to get the original. Yeah, the DLC unlocked as the weapon and the characters immediately. What does that mean, Fluff? The DLC unlocked the weapons and characters immediately? For like Asgard Wrath 1, so if you pre-order Asgard Wrath 2, you get all of the characters immediately in the previous game. I mean, Fluff says Survivor V3, Asgard's Wrath, and 2 are probably what I carry. Yeah, no, that's good too. I agree. You don't think you'll get this one? I thought you like cooperative games, and this seems like a really fun cooperative game. Or sorry, not the other one, the one like mage one. I lost it. I'll probably just get the Quest 2 after the 3 releases and the price drop. Yeah, it's a great idea. Great idea. Quest 3 is an awesome headset. What do you call it? There's a headset that's coming out that I think I want to get instead, but I think it may be like a good bit more money. It might be like a freakish, stupid, annoying amount of money, which is shitty. But we'll see. But it's one that people have talked about. It's all open source. It's a headset with open source. It's got eye tracking. It's got a bunch of shit. But I don't know enough about it. And if it's beyond $1,000, I can't do it. But if it's around $800, I might say fuck it, because I want to make content of VR games. So if I could have an easier time doing that, it also makes me terrified. Though open source is both the coolest shit ever, and also the most mind-numbingly frustrating thing, because it could just be a toss-up between what they do. How much open it is can leave you lost, I guess. Fluff says, or my dad will get a Quest 3 and give me his Quest 2. That's a good idea. Start worm-tonguing your dad. Be like, hey, let's not say that. Start compelling your dad in some way to be like, hey, this Quest 3 thing is crazy. Dude, Fluff, the beginning of the stream killed me. It had this. Out of all of the instruments to have fun and like to make a game about, what would it be, Fluff? When you're like, hey, we need to make a game where we're gonna be using an instrument, and it's gonna be in VR, and we're gonna want to make use of that tactile feedback, that loop, all that. What instrument would you use to do such a thing? Where are you? I know what you're thinking, Fluff. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking maracas, right? You're thinking a game about maracas, where you play a little man and then you're just hitting maracas, and that's what you're jamming out to. Beat Saber they're coming for you. It's literally just a Beat Saber thing. It's not just Beat Saber. There's 2 types of games that are really successful. One is you punching little nodes, and then one is you slicing shit up with 2 lightsabers. So yeah. And I think it's just like an exercise game in disguise, but to me, I'm like, this is what we're starting with. We're starting with a maraca game. And then the girl who's announcing it's like, you know what I love? Maracas. And then just a soulless expression. And you're like, what? What is wrong with you? And trumpet would be sick. There's 2 that have been really good thus far. There's I think there's might be a trumpet one, but the one I know for sure is that there's one where like you're playing an orchestra, and I know it doesn't sound cool. You're playing the conductor, but dude, with you like sitting at the top of like an army of people and doing this, and then like it gives you a cue to like lift up your hand like this, and then as soon as you do that, the choir at the back picks up and starts singing, and you're just like, oh my god, this feels sick as hell, dude. It's all classical music shit, and just hitting like a truck. Oh, my stomach's growling. Fluff says, as it is, my spending priority will be on paying off the GPU and monitor over the next 12 months. Likely soon. Nice. And getting a 2 terabyte SSD to replace my OS drive. And a 2 to 3, 4 terabyte SSD that uses my remaining 2.2 slot. God damn, Fluff. The more you talk at me about this stuff, Fluff, the more I'm like, I need to do it too. I think I need a wake-up call, though. I think I need to get slapped in the face, like I need to heavily invest in like a VR headset to where like because at this point my VR headset, it's so rough that like my PC, if I did make it look better, like for the guys, look, for those guys who don't know, when you see the VR gameplay on Mind Palace of Madness or something, or on one of our streams, you guys see so much better quality than I do. To me, it looks like if you're on 4K, I'm on 720p. It's manageable. It can still be cool. I get to feel depth. It's dope, but it's rough. It's not that bad. But it is definitely less. Like I constantly look at the footage and I'm like, that looks great. I don't see that in my head. Especially when you get things close, it all goes to shit. But anyway, the one thing I did want to mention though was I think a wake-up call for me building that PC would be getting a good headset, really good headset, and then being like, okay, now I can finally build up my PC, and it will gain an advantage by having done that. Fluff says not having gameplay footage doesn't mean it's being developed in 12 months. Oh no. What do you call it, Fluff? What do you mean? At the very beginning of the showcase, this girl says that every single game that is shown will be out this year. That's what she says. So that's why I'm extrapolating that two things. But you think you could go from no gameplay footage from that and be fine? What's good, right name? Brandon says, hey, what's up, y'all? Wasn't expecting a stream at this time. Yeah, no, we started early because we're racking to MetaQuest's game showcase I was telling y'all about. It was, if there was a version that showed you like PC supported gameplay alongside these games, I'd be fucking juiced. And again, some of them look cool. Like, this is a great example of this is all CGI trailer. Apparently, there's a game where it's a horror game where you're stabbing vampires, except it's a horror game, so you're not going to actually be killing any of them. And yeah, it's just that's all we got from this like Vampire Slayer game. A little rough. I should sell this like, oh my god, these games are going to be the best. Just to kind of build hype, so you guys want to see them with me. But we'll see. Raid says, I also forgot today was Thursday. Goddamn, Raid is in like a time chamber all his whole life. Fluff says, for Gunfire Reborn DLC, I haven't seen the co-op one. A trumpet. I mean, that's the classic Sega character. No, I know it's a classic Sega character. I just, to me, like, what do you call it? I don't think... Maybe they're banking all on nostalgia in hindsight. If it is that much of an iconic character, to me, I'm thinking, I don't know if it's that much of an iconic character to be like enough, you know? I'm not sure if you've seen this one, Fluff. This one was dope. Yeah, you basically play like a giant mech with rock'em sock'em arms and shit. I feel like this will be really, really cool, and then you'll do it for an hour and be like, okay, so like, what happens after an hour? Same thing? Okay. A little rough. Samba de Amigo. So it's pretty much a remake of for VR. Oh, okay. I was kidding about the trumpet. Marcus makes sense. Maracas makes sense as a VR with the two controller. Yeah, but to me, I just don't think it's exciting. Like, maybe again, I always want to be proven wrong, because every opinion I have, by the way, is always... whenever I was a kid, I used to always read comments of every video I ever watched, of every meme Reddit thread I ever seen. So I always have like this background idea, could be wrong, of what I think people want and what people will buy. So when I see this stuff, I'm like, I don't know if this will sell well. That's why I get so frustrated with the puzzle games, because I see so much effort put into them, but I don't think there's a lot of a gigantic audience that is going to play that. Granted, and it's funny because like games that you're like, yeah, what a shocker that like Boneworks sold well. What a shocker that Valve Half-Life Alyx sold well. Also, what a shocker that a game like Gorilla Tag, which is free to play and is extremely simple and has a cartoony art style. What a shocker that would do well. There's a child audience, of course it's going to do. So like, to me, none of the things that have done well have been in any way shocked that they have done well. You know, so like I see all these other things, I'm like, this seems like it's, I don't know who this is for, you know? Red says, you need a better GPU, Grim. When more than 8 gigabytes of RAM preferably. Yeah, so for me, the first thing I gotta pursue is I gotta get a better motherboard, and then I have my old PC case, so I'm gonna try to take my new PC. This is like a little tiny guy. I'm gonna get a better motherboard so that I can actually plug in better sticks of RAM and stuff like that. Not RAM, sorry, hard drives and stuff like that, and also more RAM. And then probably the next thing will be a GPU. Yeah. Fluff says, that's less than 12 months. We're halfway there this year. Oh, I see. Oh, that's what you're saying. I'm sorry, I didn't click in my head. You were saying that like this game has less than 12 months to play because we're halfway into. Right. Yee. Yee. Again, there's been this new guy who's starting to run meta who is starting to like get into games, realizing that that's where they can make some like money. And yeah, it seems like they last minute shifted all that stuff over there. But man, Monday, I was debating on streaming Monday because Apple is gonna have their like keynote. I don't know if I'll stream the press conference or if when Thursday comes around, I'll just throw it up on screen because apparently there's a lot more like hype around the technology. This is also probably why Meta released their conference or showcase before Apple, so they had some hype and some news articles written about them, because apparently Apple is coming out with like games where they're made by like really developed industry reps, which I don't know, man. If this is like Apple's really strong push into gaming finally, because they failed hardcore on like Apple and Mac being any sort of gaming anything. So we'll see. Hopefully they do good. They're good about building communities. Not communities, sorry, what do you call it? They're good about building ecosystems. So they're willing to invest in like a shit ton of the app stores and whatnot and all this stuff if it means that they have more money down the line. So the new Apple headset apparently is crazy. Apparently they've been paying developers to work on games for like 5 years in silence. I trust them to actually make things that like the industry refuses to make, which seems like it's obvious that would be really good for it, like to make a movie in VR, to make a what is it called, that Netflix show that everyone loves, Arcane. If they made like an Arcane type series with 6 episodes where you got to be in the same room and walk around and experience all this shit with you basically being the person in the room, I think that could be crazy. If they just hire a bunch of people for a year to go to like concerts and to go to like beautiful resorts and to go to like locations, to just get on a bike and drive, and you could put on your headset and then like be riding in a beautiful vista with some person, you basically being their eyes. That could be great. Like there's so many things I think could build money, add value. So hopefully they don't put a price tag on everything. Hopefully they give some stuff out for free. Like I think that's what Apple needs to start to do, or I think that's what Meta should have done, is hired, like said, instead of spending $1 billion on like a company, a bunch of gaming companies which you're never going to get anything to yield, just pay a bunch of young people to go around with a very specific camera that's great at filming VR and go get them to do that. Ride a bike in Hawaii that's beautiful, going down these amazing scenery. Hell, put something on them and just get them to walk down a gorgeous mountainside or something, and then just advertise those like crazy on the front page of Meta, wherever it is, as an experience that you could feel like, oh my god, this is amazing. Rather than there being like YouTube videos that are kind of doing that are really gross because you don't actually get to move around like this, you move around like this, so it just feels like you're getting dizzy every single time you move because it's distorted. Anyways, it's being a little bit of a bitch again. Love says, and the cinematic trailer instead of gameplay is nothing new. They could show more in the next few months. Hopefully. I just think that seems like 6 months seems like a quick turnaround for VR. And again, if it is, it just feeds to me the pain of like what VR is still trapped in. The fact that like no company is willing to spend enough on VR, and it's hilarious because when a company is, if you're talking about Asgard's Wrath, what do you call it? It's one of the highest selling VR games of all time. It's like, what a shocker. It's a game that actually had people who wanted to develop a complex system with mechanics and etc. Raid says, how have you been, Grim? I've just been grinding the new season of Destiny. Ooh, dude, I keep having dreams. One day I'm going to jump back into maybe like the last week of whenever the new update's going to come out. Raid, tell me when we're like a month away from the next expansion from Destiny. And I might try to jump into Destiny 2 and just grind up some of the story quests that I think are still there, hopefully. Just like maybe not a month, maybe like 2 weeks out from the thing. We'll play Destiny for like 2 weeks straight, just trying to experience the story, catch up. I believe this is supposed to be like basically the ending of the first arc, essentially, even though there's like thousands of arcs in this one arc, you know what I mean? Unless they do that bullshit where the last arc becomes 7 arcs because they want to make more money. Yeah. Fluff says, and the read that. Raid says also was playing Warframe a bit earlier today. Awesome, Raid. What VR game spoke to you, Raid? Anything? Speaking anything? Because to me, even if you're not into VR, if anything caught your eye, I could see like, ooh, okay, people are interested in that. We could make a video about that. We could cover that. But dude, there's also a lot of VR games coming out this. I'll show you guys. So that's what's coming out this year. Honestly, it's funny because you guys are about to see like this was all Meta's, we call it Meta's game stuff, Meta's conference, whatever it's called. But here is what's coming out this month for PC VR. Am I gonna be? Follow me 1 sec. 1 second. There is a Hudda game in VR that I hope isn't too much. Okay. Let's go here. Okay. So this is an awesome channel, by the way. You should go subscribe to it. But this is one of the VR games. It's like Tech Deck. Sure. Sure. But this is all what's coming out this month today across Quest, VR, all that stuff. Yeah. This is just the intro. I guess I should skip to the ting. No sponsor. There we go. This game looks sweet. This apparently is kind of like a dungeon dweller one. Looks real like solid. Looks kind of like Blade and Sorcery, but like less a little bit. We might play this one. This one looks dope. There's 2 games I'm interested in. You got Rock'em Sock'em Arms. But this is hilarious because this to me is more of a showcase than what we just watched, which is rough. Fluff says, I mean the Wii raised the same question. The Wii raised the same question, and its workout rhythm style games sold really well. Yeah, well, I think that's the only thing that makes sense with that game is that it's, how do I put it? It is a music game, or it is a workout game disguised as a music game. And workout games sell because people want to work out. In fact, that's like one of the easiest ways to make money right now on Meta. Their model essentially is make a workout game and then add stuff to it for a monthly service. So like you basically pay a monthly service and you get access to all these like training courses and stuff, which actually seems like good. It's like $24 a month though, which is insane for like a couple punching aerobic teachers essentially. But yeah, makes sense. Make that money. I wish there was a person that came out and made like a version of it that wasn't so expensive. This is also a game that looks kind of fun. Looks like it's gonna be. I feel like this game is gonna make money. It's basically a single player gorilla tag, so I feel like a lot of people will buy it. The kids, I mean. Honestly, it looks fun. Looks like a goofy, fun kind of game. Fluff says, I mean the Wii. All right, read that. Red says, can't believe is June. I already felt like May went by crazy. No, I agree. I thought this week went by hella fast. It had me rolling, man. I don't know. I feel like today should be like Tuesday. Like I feel like I just got Monday and it's Thursday. Golly. Fluff says, my dragging on for me. I was sick in the middle of it. I was beginning to worry I wouldn't be able to afford the last part of my PC. You would get there eventually, though, Fluff. I know that. I trust in that. Fluff says it's a teaser trailer. A lot of games have been releasing more and more footage on weekly and monthly basis. For games, I feel like that typically doesn't happen. Oh, sorry, maybe. I guess to me this game is also one we're definitely gonna be playing. Undead Citadel. I hope my PC doesn't have a stroke when playing it. But it looks really good. This is all in-game footage, which is dope. And yeah, this is on the list that's coming out this week. We'll probably try to play this next week, the 8th. Hopefully it works out. I know Red's probably like, ew, floating hands, but it looks pretty dope. Raid says, yeah, near the end of the month went kind of slow, but the start of the month went by quick. Says, I just I just like the latest Sony showcase. They saved the meatiest for the last. Spider-Man 2. Dude, I feel like Sony's. A lot of people were shitting on Sony's conference. I actually really enjoyed Sony's game showcase this year. I don't know why people really hated it, but I thought it was great. I liked it much better than the Meta showcase. This game looks cute. This game looks like an old throwback to like a developer who, in order to fix the bugs in her video game, she has to go into the video game and like play it, essentially. So that's the idea of the game. It's pretty neat. Raid says, I'm liking the look of Asgard's Wrath game, but I'm too broke for VR. That's true, but you can vicariously live through me. You know? That's why I ask you what you're excited for, is because I ultimately am a servant for you guys. Not in a way that is rude, though. Don't be a dick. But yeah, essentially, if I can make content that is exciting and fun that you guys want to see, then that'd be awesome. Yeah, this one I'm not too excited for. But this one seems interesting. I kind of wanted to see what it is like to get into a competitive VR game, and this is kind of what that is. So you basically have a slingshot, which you can throw your blade, and then you basically, I'm not sure if it's like a grapple hook or if you just grab shit and that's how you do it, or I think you have wings. It's weird. It looks really weird. Apparently the devs who are making this game kind of abandoned the previous, so it doesn't really bode well. This is the biggest game that we're the most excited for. All right, we are. I'm speaking on behalf of you because I know you well, okay? It's called Grimlord. It is an RPG game, but not really, because it's like Dark Souls, basically. Apparently, it looks very similar to Hellsplit, but it's apparently like a Dark Souls RPG-like game that looks a little more hardcore than normal. And yeah, the fact that it's an RPG, win. The fact that it is apparently not trying to hold your hand is a win. This is apparently a VR HUD game where you can diddle these people very awkwardly. When you have built up enough karma with them, we're going to skip that. Because, yeah. But, you know, perverts being perverts is what it is. This game also looks awesome, but people are worried because it hasn't... the developers abandoned the previous game, so people are like, what the fuck, man? I have no faith in you. If you're gonna make something cool, then leave. Granted, it looks pretty dope. Ugh. It's not the good coffee. Fluff says, VR and Nintendo consoles need their fair share of family-oriented / for all age audiences. Yeah. No, I don't disagree that that's a good idea. Like, for, what do you call it? To me, like, that's what I said when I said, like, oh, Gorilla Tag. Like, Gorilla Tag, to me, I was like, this game is going to explode. It's not that hard to understand. Like, it is a game that is extremely simple. It is also one of the few games that has, like, zero, and I mean zero divisiveness at all. The fact that there's like live commentary though, like you can talk to people, it's horrible because kids will just call you the N-word a bunch. But anyways, but yeah, point is that it's like just a super not aggressive type of game. Again, when I think of like games for the family, when you see stuff like this, I think it looks fun, but I just don't know any kid who's like, I'm gonna go get into puzzles. Like I just don't think that's gonna be the case. Yeah. Same thing with the maraca games. I don't know any kid that's like, let me just fuck around with some maracas. It just doesn't seem like that's what happens. This game looks cute too. But ultimately, the ones that we're going to be probably playing, guys, this month probably, is this one, Battle Talent. It's just like an RPG. Not a lot of RPGs in the game, in VR. We'll be killing some skeletons, dunking on some swordsmen, getting some new legendary gears and stuff like that. The second game that we're going to be giving a whirl is, this game is probably the most anticipated game. Or probably the second most anticipated game. This one right here, Undead Citadel. It's just like a super raw. If you like swordplay, if you like gunplay and all that stuff, it looks like it has a really good engine. Looks dope as hell. And then the next game that we're probably going to be playing this month, my wallet is crying. I know, Grimlord. It's the one that's like a Dark Souls. Apparently it's really good. Like everyone's just been talking hype about it, so I'm like, okay, I'll give it a whirl. Hopefully it's good. But dude, all of this is running on Actually, no, I'm not sure this one is running on Quest. I don't think some of these are. I think these trailers are actually bona fide trailers. This one looks a little Dark Souls-y too, a little bit. What he just did there looked impossible. I'm not sure if that's possible. He goes up. No, go back a little bit more. This right here. He stab, flies, and then kicks, and then ground pounds? That seems like it can't happen. How did you kick, first of all? Do you have leg tracking? Can you hit a button and kick? I know you can sometimes do that, but damn. Raid says, yeah, this week definitely gone by too quick. I agree, Raid. I agree. I'm an eye. Love says, it is, damn it, it is E3 season. What? What do you mean? What? Red says, I'm down for VR Holiday games. Yeah, with that, I'm not. I'm not. What do you call it? That's a rough bit of business. Also, I don't know if it's like a third-person game or if it's a first-person game or if it's what it is. But it looks old. It looks like an old one. This is also a game that people have talked about, budget cuts. There's like an infinite amount of VR games that we could play on our channel, and we probably will do all of them. But yeah, but yeah, we still have to go back and play Vertigo and like finish up the what seems like the coolest weapon we kind of miss. There's like a sword that you can deflect projectiles back at enemies, and it's a ranged melee. Awesome. We got the like Soviet dual wield high damage one, but shit. You know what, dude? I do think that like one of the best, if you were to conceive of a plan that could make VR succeed, I think you would need to do three things. I think the one thing I talked to you guys about, your ear off about it, about actually like just taking experiences that people want to experience and try to find the best way to deliver that as humanly possible. So people want to work out and they want to ride their bike in their home, but they're getting bored with their screen and the same aerobic exercise that they've seen 6 times. Awesome. Go hire a bunch of young people to go to Rome, get them on a bike, get a camera, mount it on the bike, get them to go. Create like a team around that just does that all the time. Give that to your VR audience at the front page for free. And then maybe charge some shit if you want, pull them somewhere else, but you have to deliver and show them that this is the quality that they're going to be getting before they actually want to buy it. That'd be one. Same thing with concerts, same thing with hiking, same thing with swimming, same thing with whatever. Just that. That'd be one thing. The second thing I think you need is games. We talked about that beforehand. Games that people actually want to play. Games where, you're like actually like RPGs, things like people that want to develop and sink in a lot of time into stuff like that. I don't care if it's like a gotcha, whatever the fuck, just anything. And the third one I should have said first, because that was the first thing that came to mind. That's why I said that we're gonna have set to 3, but then I forgot what it was. God damn it. What was it? It wasn't. It was that. I don't know which one it was. Shit. Anyways, we got 2. I forgot what the third one was. The third, I think, was it something that I seen? I must have seen it and it triggered something in my brain. I don't know what it was. I thought I seen something on the screen that made it click in my head. I can't remember what it was. I lost it. God damn it. Anyway. Love says, as to why we're seeing so many games for a showcase for games. Oh yeah, no, I see. Love is saying it's E3 season typically, so this is why everyone's just doing their showcases. Yeah. That makes sense. I don't know. There's so many to do. I guess June is that. So we have June on the 8th, I think, or is it 12th? We have Sony's this month as well. We also have on Monday we have. Apple's kind of like showcase for VR. That could be cool. I don't think we'll stream that one just because I don't know. I'm not sure, man. Apple's whole shtick to me, I feel like. Do you guys want to? If you guys say sure, then maybe. If I get enough people saying why not, if we want to stream on Monday, whenever that conference is going on, maybe. But I don't know. I feel like we could just watch it after the fact and it'd just be fine on like Thursday. Because that counts because it's our VR stream. Oh, I was talking about Vertigo. And you deflect weapons. I don't know. Fuck me. Damn it. I had like 3 things I think if a company did, I think it would massively help VR. I can't think of what the last one was. Shit on my whole life, dude. I don't think like you being able to work in like Microsoft Paint or whatever editing software you have is going to be the future. I think it could be cool. I just don't think that's going to be the thing that sells systems, you know? Yeah. Fluff says, summertime tends to be when we'll get teasers for upcoming holiday season, if not something coming earlier. Yeah, for 2024. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know when Microsoft's showcase is going to be. Does anyone know when that's happening? Because Sony had theirs, and usually Microsoft follows suit quickly beforehand. And we have apparently like guaranteed Starfield coming out. Oh, that's what it was. The third thing I think that a VR company needs to do to succeed is basically continue to take games that people have reverence for and love for and all of those things and make a game of that. Basically, one of the reasons why remakes in right now in our current era do so well is because people know what they are getting. They know that at the very least they're going to get a game that they really, really like, that they've already experienced, and there's no buy-in, there's no like, oh, this game is going to come out broken, half-baked, or whatever, because you follow the formula, you know how to make it, etc. There's also 90% of what games cost comes from like storyboarding and trying to figure out what the hell you're doing. So you have none of that, then you can just immediately start grinding out what things need to look like. Anyways, but also, they're proven already. Like these games, people are jaded and angry right now in video games for always getting shit like screwed over essentially. To where those games are guaranteed, I'm a minimum going to get what I think I'm going to get, and I'm happy with that. So the fact that if you took games like that and remade them, they're doing that with Bulletstorm, that's awesome. But if they did that with some other game that also has a lot of notoriety, which came to mind, but then I lost, but you could take anything, not everything can work in VR, but there's a lot of games that you could remake and experience, and it would be awesome again. I had this one in my head that I was like, this is perfect for if they did a VR version of it. I just can't think of what it was called now. Fuck. Damn it. Damn it. It was a game that looked great at the time. It's been a while since we played it. If they remade it for VR, that'd be amazing. Damn it. Can't think of what it's called. Raiden says there's gonna be a showcase for the final shape of Destiny in August, I think. A showcase? Do you know when it's coming out? How many months away is the actual release of the new Destiny expansion? Raid, if you know. But how long have we been streaming, by the way? Have we done our 2 hours? Well, first of all, just to not feel like I want to leave, I'm getting hungry and it's lunch. So, I had my little sushi rolls there, so I could go up and eat them if worst case scenario. But, what do you call it? Also, thank you so much, Fluff, for sending me that, like, onigiri stuff. You sent me one where it was just, like, this girl who was just popping off. Also, it made me, like, oh my god. She made, like, this Japanese restaurant in Japan, I assume. And it's, like, this girl who's just making onigiri, which is these little rice balls, essentially. But she, like, there was a scene in that video where she takes, like, a pot of hamburger and a giant bag the size of my face of sugar and dumps it in the hamburger, and it dissolves into the hamburger. A whole bag of sugar into that, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my god, oh my fuck, that's so much sugar in that meat. It looks delicious, don't get me wrong, it looks delicious. I think it's only meant to be a little bit on it too, but man. But there was a lot of awesome recipes I've seen. Also, I ordered my knife. My knife came. It looks pretty good. It's a little bit big for my hand because, you know, chef knives are just always gargantuan, but you know. As to what, anytime, glad YouTube has been recommending stuff you could draw inspiration for. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to try some stuff. A recap of the showcase. I am excited for 2 games. I think my main, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I know I should be the person that's selling hype to some way, because I want to show you guys these games too, because I think they're going to be fun in actuality. Like, we could have fun in them is what I mean. I think Meta is pretty not very good about selling excitement. Like, even Azura's Wrath, even though I'm super, like, that seems awesome, it doesn't look exciting. Like, that's something that Sony nails. Like when you look at the Spider-Man showcase with the dude fleeing off shit and just jumping around everywhere, it looks awesome. It looks so goddamn cool. Same thing with even their VR showcase, where like they know the moments that like look really, really good, even when they're not in VR necessarily. Like that scene where in Resident Evil, the remake, you're like eerily going through corridors as you hear creaks. And you see your hands come up, and then they're like, what is like something that can translate to the human brain of a scarcity and fear? Okay, there's an iconic moment where somebody comes at them with a chainsaw, and they block it with a knife. And then they're holding the knife in front of them as this blade is like POV coming to slice up your head. It's a POV that no one has seen before because one, Resident Evil has never been first person. None of the... most of them haven't been first person, I guess. I guess the last two have been, but it's not the same type of first person that you're used to. My whole point is, it's a different POV of what you see before, so it makes it exciting. Like there's these ways that you film VR that is exciting, that makes people think, okay, like I'm getting closer. Like I think that's like Sony is playing the game that like if we continue to show you guys these games, these experiences, these little clips of like this, then this, then this, and we keep that pressure on. Every single consecutive time we keep dropping those nuggets, maybe Christmas comes around. Maybe your grandma, for whatever reason, gave you some money, even though you're 36 and she's just that sweet. Maybe you also, haven't had anything, you haven't bought anything in a while. And then you see the VR thing there, and then you're constantly having this thing of like, that's a pretty cool experience. That's actually really exciting. That's really exciting. Because Sony is doing a really good job about selling the idea of what VR is rather than just showing gameplay of it. Because again, like Fluff and I have said, VR is one of those things that you have to experience in order to understand why something like looking at it like a simple backdrop of a video game can make you go, oh. Because you can see like an endless vista. It looks insane. The depth of it is crazy, or feels crazy. So if they keep doing that, they keep dropping those little bread trails, I think Sony will eventually win over a lot of people and actually start to sell those things, those experiences. And Meta, to me, I think has failed in that way. I think again, not that the games that they make aren't great. Again, Boneworks is awesome. Bone Lab, is awesome. Their hardware is good. The fact that it worked out is awesome. Their hardware, but I still just don't feel like they've done a good job about it selling the excitement of these games. Again, I think they're going to be great, but I just don't think people are going to be like, oh my god. After seeing the showcase, I need to go buy this and that, even though I think the one exception is Asgard's Wrath, because it just has so much shit that you can do, which is what like the main problem with VR games, is there's nothing that you can actually do. You're like walking on a linear path. But yeah. What's good, Lone? You just missed the stream, buddy. Sorry, I stream so much. I know time zones for some of y'all is the rough go of it. I want to show Lone some stuff before we tune out completely. Oh no! Give me a sec. How the fuck do I find the thing that we were just at? I have to go back to history. Should be at history 2. There it is. This. This is what you missed, Lone. Right. So we got some bangers, Lone. We got a vampire game that I can't find in this shit show, and we have honestly, I'm extremely excited for the AC game. I hope it looks good. But the AC game, dude, again, Blade and Sorcery, I want to make a video, and there's already videos out there that exist like this on Blade and Sorcery, but where like they just try to recreate Assassin's Creed, and it works. It works so well. And if Assassin's Creed has like the Horizon Zero Dawn level of like you can climb anything, like just by grabbing something, your character's hands will like morph in a way that makes sense that they could grab it, even if it's just like this, just a slight bend. Kind of like Blade and Sorcery, that's perfect. That's enough for you to rip up a wall, and it'll be great. But what do you call it? Alone. There's this. What do you call it? Asgard's Wrath. This is the main game that we're all like, okay, I see you. This could be dope as hell. It is running on standalone Quest headset, so on PC it'll look significantly better, I think. So don't be too, could look a little rough. Fluff says summertime tends to be they prep us for the holiday season. Raynade says there's going to be the thing with Destiny. Fluff says, I mean, Meta is out of touch. Just look at, yeah, okay, that's a good point. Meta to me has been like severely. It's almost like Mark Zuckerberg, who seems like he's not the best at connecting with people, is running a business where he's connecting with, trying to connect with people. Anyways, he's not that bad. I don't hate him as much as other people, but you know, I know he's done some horrible shit. But Alone says, what's this? Didn't know it would be early. I'll return when I get home. Oh, I missed the stream. I feel so. It's okay, Alone. It's so good. I did say that we would be streaming the showcase, and I think, what do you call it? Remember that day when I was doing the VR stream? I said, I fucked up, guys. I woke up early today. Actually, I didn't wake up early. I just, I prepped the thumbnail for the stream and all that stuff, only to then me to check at the last minute that did I see it properly? Basically, did I see that this, because I didn't see any like thing pop up on my feed that said like, oh, Meta's doing this thing. Like usually I see other people set like stream reminders for people. I didn't see any of that, so then I was like, it's not. It's just that it doesn't exist. Like, it's not a thing. I seen it as what do you call it? I think we were at August 1st or something like that. We were one day off essentially, and then I found that I seen it as May, but it was really June. And I think okay, then it's a month away. But still, anyways, yes, yeah. But hopefully we can talk tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what we'll be doing. What do we normally do on Fridays again? We just play any game, right? Oh, we played Wonderlands last Friday. That was awesome. Yeah, let's do that again. I had a fun time doing that. Melee in that game is awesome. It'd be so cool if there was a mod though that exclusively gave you the ability just to melee, and like you could see your weapon in front of your face. That'd be dope. But unfortunately, not a thing. But it is a very fun. The Redux man is such a fun mod. It's such a fun time. Hopefully they do more with it. Also, they're adding stuff in the Redux as if the game is now a live service game. Like the people who made the Wonderlands Redux are now making basically like a live service game, which is insane. They're basically like shitting all over Gearbox in a beautiful way, being like, this is what you should have done and what the community wanted to do. Eat it. They're releasing new bosses for us to melt. The only thing that sucks is that I think that like it sounds shitty, but like the hype train for Wonderlands has significantly died down. You know? But yes. Lone says, well, might be. Oh, Lone, we missed you though. Hey Lone, look at this. Look at this. Look at that. You can experience that in VR. Big woman. Big woman girl. This game looks dope. Yeah, imagine. Hopefully, it looks good, better on PC. I wanted to show you guys that. Let me see if I can find it. Then we'll wind down for the stream. Oh, my nose. What's this guy's name again? He has a very iconic name. His name is Thrill Seeker. He's big in the VR space. Let me try to find this. Well, first of all, this is just dope. This is like potentially the future of VR, which I thought was pretty wild. Come on, show me. Show me. There it is. Look at that. Isn't that neat? So this is apparently, hopefully, going to be the future of VR, which is basically like full-on screens, rather than just being like, because basically there's a thing with VR. If we look, come on. Basically, it's like binoculars. There's like this shadowing type of thing. There, it's like this, like a shadowing type of thing. So it's dope. Hopefully that that works out. But this was the game. This is the one I wanted to show you guys. This looks. This is the headset that I'm considering making. This is the one that's open source apparently. What it's trying to do, it's got a wider FOV, I think. It's got more of a curved lens, all this stuff. It looks dope. Is this the one I'm thinking of? Yeah, so this is it. This is the headset I'm thinking about, called the Somnum? Somnum? I don't know. But it's, what do you call it? Apparently it's modular. I know what that means. It's hard to see. Let's see. Let's skip across. What was that thing let's do this. Come on. There we go. this. Too much shit for me to read and understand. But it's got hand tracking. It's got eye tracking. That's the thing. Yes. Oh, I see. So that's how they're doing it. That's so cool. So they're basically, you can optionally put in hand tracking or eye tracking if you don't want. So if you don't want hand tracking, you're like, fuck it. I don't want it. Lower the price. If I want eye tracking, I can put it in, hopefully getting the price. Awesome. They have better lenses, the real POV. I think you could basically make the POV better. But yeah, this is the headset that I'm thinking about. I don't know. The reason why is because I want not a headset that basically has shit going on in the headset. I want it to be like going into my PC. I want my PC to be powering the headset, not to have any yeah. This is also one of the VR headsets that exists right now. It's probably one of the most hyped ones people love. This right here. But yes, this was the headset that I'm thinking about. It looks pretty good. I'm sure it's $1 bazillion, and I'm just like, I haven't heard the price of it yet, so I've been like living in like a fantasy that I can maybe afford it. So, you know, pain, but we'll see. Raynane says, been a while since we played Tower Fantasy, but I'd understand if you don't want to do that. No, to me, oh man, Ray, I think I want to wait until there's that next big expansion. Because yeah, to me, man, I feel, every time I get back into Tower Fantasy, man, I just feel like I'm weak. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the world's moved on without me, and I feel like no matter what I do, I can't attain strength at a sufficient rate to make me feel like I can actually apply pressure to the game. You know? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm in that weird loop of like, there's so much work that I have to do, and I might not even succeed in the way to basically yield anything. Like it's one of those things where I could get so lucky and it could take a week. I just get the best artifacts, the best things ever, bang, 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 bang. It took a week of grinding, or it could take like 6 months. And then when I did play Tower Fantasy, I played it for like 6 months, and I'm at where I'm at now, which is like still a baby, you know. So it's weird. Unless you're willing to spend enough money to where you have a couple aces in your kit, I think then you'd fucking like just devour the game. But also I don't even play it for that reason. So maybe we could jump back into it again eventually, because I enjoy what do you call it? I enjoy the just playing with you guys. But also I feel like I'd rather play Warframe with you guys than Tower Fantasy at this point. Not that I don't love Tower Fantasy, it's just yeah. That's fair. Thanks. Right? Lone says, I have to work, plus the notification bell doesn't do its job. Oh shit, sorry, Red. Lone, I didn't know that. Damn, YouTube. Lone says, but see everyone tomorrow. Okay, thank you so much, Lone. Hope I can see you again tomorrow. Hopefully work is fun, or manageable at least. You might wanna progress a bit through the story. In what, Tower Fantasy or in Warframe? We can do that on stream, though. Power through some Warframe stuff. Love says, I'll be playing SF6 and or Diablo 4 tomorrow. Nice. And my department foreman is going to be getting the night crew paid stack. God damn, you got a stacked ass day tomorrow, Fluff. That's awesome. So it'll be a good shift, hopefully. Yeah, it sounds awesome. Sounds like a game you have a nice food waiting for you, and then you also have even more food in the terms of entertainment with Diablo. People have been telling me to play that game. I don't think I will. I think we're gonna stick with this VR shit. I'm sure some of you guys are like, okay, but I'm working on this VR video right now for Blade and Sorcery again. Hopefully it'll be on the Mind Palace Madness channel by the end of this week. Hopefully. It's kind of being a bitch to edit, but yeah, hopefully I can see you guys tomorrow. Also, by the way, we'll just be continuing hanging out, chilling with Wonderlands, talking about anything and everything, probably talking about some more of the VR games that we see. I would love to see what other people are saying in the VR community about some stuff I might have missed. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and goodbye, my friends. I'm off to go eat.